All right, today we're reviewing how I was able to pass my prop firm challenge in 5 days. As you see, I'm current with Top Step, and you can see my results here. It was a $50,000 account. You can see the ending balance here, 53,000, and this was passed in only 5 days, actually, 5 trading days. Profit goal was 3,000. Ended up with $3,050 to close it out. And if you see my equity curve here, you can see that it was a straight, smooth sail up. I didn't have any red days over the course of those 5 days. Um, smooth sessions. And I'm going to show the strategy that I used to get this win rate and how I was able to achieve that in 5 days. So we'll go over to the chart, and um, what I trade is gold. So this does work with other pairs with the indices, but I found it is very, very profitable and consistent on gold for the way that gold moves, and it works for me. I trade after work hours in the Asian session, and sometimes there are setups in the morning also that may set up at 8 a.m. or also they can continue throughout the day, but I majorly trade during the Asian session. So looking at this, what you're going to look for is a trend. We always want to try to trade with the trend, and that's what we have drawn out here. We have a high, we have a higher low, higher high, higher low, and again a higher high. So this could be within here. It doesn't have to be three pushes or anything. I just wanted to show that this is a trend up. So when you get that strong push up in a trend, what you're looking for are these little micro pullbacks within that last push or the most recent push. And this is what I call the steps. And you'll see why I say that when we go over to the actual chart to show that. So you're looking for these small steps down. And then from out of those steps, it's going to take patience to do this strategy because you're going to want to jump in early, but you have to be patient. You have to wait for off of these steps for another strong push out of those steps down. So once you see that strong push up, that's when you want to get out your trend line to and draw a trend that goes down along those steps. And like I say, just confirm that break. And once you see that push off of the steps and off of that trend line, wait for that one to pull back again. And this is where I say it takes patience, because what most people would do off of a trend line is that once they see the trend line, they'll enter on the break here. And like I say, that does work depending on where you're riding it to. But what I found is that when you have that initial trend line break, that's going to really set the target for where your next push is going to go to. So as you see here, I had the trend line break. We got up to this point here, and then we're going to have a pullback. So once I get that pullback, then we're going to look for our entry here. So our entry is going to always be a form of engulfing candle, as I have drawn out here. So of course we have the red candles coming down. If this is the last red candle before this green candle engulfs this candle. So in further engulf, it could be, as you see here, this one completely engulfed over this red one, even the wick. That is a plus setup there, a strong entry. But we could also have this just engulf here and not close over the whole wick. So this, I would say, is like a B setup. I would still take this just with my high conviction that we have a lot of strength in this area, because we had a strong push up here. We had the steps coming down, and then we had another strong push up. So my conviction here would be, okay, I'm okay with this, even though it didn't close way above, but it did engulf the candle, even though it didn't engulf the wick. So just to get back to where we were here, once you see this candle, and this is on the 15-minute chart, this is a good balance for me because It's not too short. If you try to do this on the 5-minute chart, it will work, but you will find yourself with false positives as far as your engulfings on the 5-minute. The 15 is a good balance, and if you can wait it out and do a 30-minute, that's even stronger. You might miss some trades with the 30 minutes because the risk to reward might not really be worth it by the time you get the confirmation, but it really just depends on the chart. But for now, I would say if you're just learning this, back test it with the 15-minute chart, and then you can go from there and work your way up to the other time frames. So once you have this engulfing, you can go to enter your market order. If you want to wait for a pullback into here, that'll get you a better risk to reward. But I usually don't do that. I usually go ahead and jump in here. And then if I get a good pullback and I see rejection, I may enter a few more contracts just to get a bigger contract size. So once you're in, and make sure that your stop loss is set beyond this this engulfing candle. I don't like to go right at the wick because a lot of times this can pull back and make a double bottom pattern. So you want to give yourself room to take that. And like I said, depending on how far this push up was, you may sometimes come up with a risk to reward that's less than 1. But a lot of times you will be able to get in here with a good 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2, something along those lines. And like I say, it's just the consistency of it is so high. That's where the value in this method is, because the market is literally telling you where it wants to go to. If you try to take this all the way up to the top of the trend every time, that's where you'll start to lose, because you'll notice that the market will push up to this previous high out of the trend, and then it'll wick, and then it'll reverse on you. And like I said, this is from, hours and hours of back testing. And as you see, um, this does work, and I've been able to pass prop firm challenges with it. So I'm going to take it over to the chart just so you can kind of see this. And like I said, one more recap. We have the strong push up. You want to look for your steps. That is a requirement. Make sure you see the steps going down. Wait through that trend line break for it to tell you the target of where we're aiming to get to. Wait for that second pullback. And like I said, you may see steps in this one again, but then get that engulfing, and then you're good to go for your trade. All right, so I'm going to get you over to a trade that I actually took today, and show you my thinking and how this actually looks on the chart. All right, so what we have, this is, let's see, 2:30 a.m. This is once again the 15-minute chart. We have this strong push up here. Then we had these steps coming down. So look at that. If you see this, it looks like steps. You have a push down, flatten off, push down, flatten off. These are like steps. That's what I'm talking about. And you see more steps here. Push down, flatten off, push down. Those are all steps. Whenever you see those steps, the market is going to likely come back to get it at some point. It might not come get it now, but it will get it. So you draw your trend line there, and then we had that push up through. So that was that second push in the trend. And if you look over here to the drawing, this push here is the same as this one coming up here. It pushed up through my trend line. So now I know my target, once it started to come back, this was my target right here. And this is key to know also. When you're setting your target, the A plus target is going to be right where you had that form of resistance here. Not at the tip of the wicks, but at the bodies of that candle, of the candles before it reversed. So an A plus would have been here. I ended up taking a take profit up here because I had an actual dollar amount I wanted to get out of my trade, and that's why I did that. But normally in an everyday situation, I would just take the trade to here, just playing it safe, and go ahead and take profit here. Because as you see, once it got up here, look at this, it wicked and it came back down again. You'll see that happen over and over in the market with this trade. It'll wick at that previous body of the high as opposed to the wicks. So back to the strategy. This push up, once again, is this push out of the trend and the steps. And then we had the pullback, which once again made more steps. We waited for this engulfing pattern here, right here, this big green candle here that was at 11:15 a.m. That was my green light, A plus, 99.9% confident that it's going to at least push back up to here, at least. Now, as you see here, this made a huge wick. So my stop, for my sanity had to be down below that wick, not even with it, below it. And also I was going to be away from my computer for a little bit. So I actually put this trade on and I walked away from the computer, and I was, that confident that it would at least get up to here. And this big stop, it gave me room just in case when I got back, if it had started to push back down after hitting here, I could manage the trade. So when I actually got back to the computer, it was in this pullback. I still felt confident in it because I saw that we were still within this strong candle up. We got another engulfing, then it pushed up and hit my TP here at about 2 p.m. So just to recap that one more time, you're looking for the trend. We have the trend going up here, strong push up. Then we had our steps going down. Draw your trend line on your steps. Wait for that break to show you the ultimate target where you're looking to get into that trade at. Wait for your pullback and then your engulfing candle. And if you notice here, this was not our engulfing. It did not close above the body of this red candle here. So you don't want to get here. And this is kind of where I talked about if you were on the 5-minute chart, these type of candles here may fool you. It may engulf within there and a market isn't really ready to go back up yet. So that's why I recommend using the 15-minute chart or above. This even works up to the 4-hour chart. If you have an account where you're doing swing trading, this is like gold when you're doing swing trading, because the higher the time frame of the candles, the more consistent and reliable these patterns are. All right, so I have a lot more videos on this. Just check out some other videos on my channel. I'm going to continue to dig into this. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments. Love to hear from you. And like I say, see if this is something you can put in your arsenal. And good luck out there.